Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. It's the first preview video of the regular season, Jets-Bills Monday Night Football. I cannot wait. Such a big game to start the season out. Monday Night Football, right? Prime time. It's going to be insane. Two great teams. The New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills, two teams that are expected to make the playoffs, two teams that a lot of people see winning this division. I mean, the Buffalo Bills have won it the past 3 seasons. It's insane. I think both teams are really trying to dig in this week to try to figure out as much information about each other as possible. You know, if we think about the acquisitions, that's one thing, but we also have to factor in we have new play callers on both teams. With the Jets, it's obviously Nathaniel Hackett bringing in his, offense with Aaron Rodgers, and then with the Buffalo Bills, Leslie Frazier stepped away. Sean McDermott is now running the Buffalo Bills defense. I believe it's Eric Washington that got promoted to DC, but Sean McDermott's going to be calling the plays. Why did he get the job in Buffalo in the first place? Because his defense in Carolina was absolutely dominant. And the one thing that we do know about the Bills defense, they're talented, they're deep, and they're filled with great players at every single level. So it should be really, really exciting, I think, from both sides. And by the way, of course, it's a new season as well. So every team every year always adds a little bit more, right? More details, more wrinkles to what they do to try to throw other teams off, right? Implementing new things. So it's one of these situations where two great teams, week one, not really knowing what to expect from one another, but at the same time, you feel like you know enough to where you can go out and put out a good performance. And this is coming from both sides. I believe the line is 2.5. I think it's Bills minus 2.5 here, so it's expected to be a close game. I think a lot of people are expecting a close game here, but let's take a second and look at some of the Bills' acquisitions. I've seen this argument lately a lot that the Bills' Super Bowl window is closed, right? For the Chiefs, it's open. For the Bengals, it's open. For the Ravens, it's open. For the Chargers, it's open. But for the Bills, it's all of a sudden closed. I don't know if it's coming from like the Stephon Diggs drama that everybody saw, which was weird. But that's something I keep seeing. I couldn't disagree more. I'm not going to look at the Bills as a Jet fan here and say to myself, oh, you know what? This is a team that, yes, they continuously fall short in the playoffs, but now they're done. They're not going to be that good. They're going to fall off completely. I'm not in that mindset. So looking at some of the Bills' notable acquisitions here, they brought in Leonard Floyd, pass rusher from the LA Rams. This is a proven pass rusher. You look at the last 3 seasons, 9 sacks in 2022, 9.5 in 2021, and then 10.5 in 2020. So Leonard Floyd will be a consistent threat off the edge for Buffalo all season, but they also brought in Poona Ford, former Seattle Seahawk. And by the way, what's up with all these Seattle Seahawk interior defensive linemen leaving in free agency? The Jets snagged 2 of them in Al Woods and Quentin Jefferson. The Bills got another in Poona Ford, who I wanted the Jets to pursue. I don't know. I'm kind of just thinking about the Seahawks defense. Like, man, I wonder if fans are concerned about the inside, but Poona Ford's a great player, great run stopper. The team also went out and signed one of the better guards in football, Connor McGovern from the Dallas Cowboys. It's kind of ironic that the Jets and the Bills now have a offensive lineman both named Connor McGovern, but I think he's going to be a big help for that Bills O-line, especially considering that they might not be the strongest on the right side, and we're going to get into that in a second. But they also re-signed Jordan Poyer, which I thought was huge. I felt like personally he was going to be gone. And then, of course, they drafted Dalton Kincaid, tight end from Utah, who was, for the most part, the number 1 tight end in the class. They snagged him in the bottom of the first round. And then Osiris Torrance, guard from Florida, in round 2, who I personally thought that he was going to be like a late first round pick here. So we look at the Buffalo Bills right now. This was a 13-3 squad last season. They have some changes, right, with Sean McDermott now calling the plays. They added some veteran players in Ford and McGovern and Leonard Floyd, added some young talent in Kincaid and Torrance. And by the way, I'm still not 100% sure if Torrance is going to be starting at right guard or if it's going to be, but either way, I think you're looking at these acquisitions and you're saying, objectively speaking, okay, the Buffalo Bills got a lot better this offseason. I don't see them taking steps backwards, if you will, as far as overall team building and whatnot. Now, the one positive, Von Miller is not going to be playing against the Jets. And to me, he is the biggest pass rushing threat that this team has. And if we look at the Jets offensive line, or really Jets offense as a whole, the O-line has been the weak point, if you will. Like, if you had to say what's the biggest weak spot on the Jets offense, it's probably offensive line depth. Really looking at the tackle position, it's not running back, it's not quarterback, it's not wide receiver or tight end. So to have the marquee player on the Bills defense in Miller not be out there, of course, from an X's and O's standpoint, it's going to help the Jets tremendously, in my opinion. I think if I'm the Jets offense, if I'm Nathaniel Hackett here, the way I'm approaching this game plan is to feed the running backs early and often, and then hopefully as the game goes on, that will open up the play action game if, of course, we're having some success in the running game. I mean, the Jets right now have two proven, two talented, two RB1s on this football team in Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. We got to utilize them, right? You factor in Buffalo's defensive line not really being the most effective in stopping the run. Granted, that was last season, and of course they did make some acquisitions this season, so it could look completely different. But looking at that, factoring in that the Jets starting 5 offensive line hasn't really had a ton of time to gel this offseason together, right? With guys, flip-flopping between the left side and the right side of the O-line, guys changing positions, AVT being hurt, missing a chunk of camp, Dwayne Brown being hurt, missing pretty much the majority of camp. I mean, even today, right? Today's Thursday, September 7th. Dwayne Brown's limited in practice. Mekhi Becton's limited in practice. I know it's one practice here, but that's just another day that the starting 5 isn't going to look the same in practice as opposed to game day. Now, how big of a deal is it? I think it would be a bigger deal if all of the players were younger. I like that we have a lot of veterans here on the offensive line in Lakin and Dwayne Brown and whatnot. But, I think if you're Hackett, if you're Rodgers, you might want to approach this situation where the Bills' defensive line is deep. They rotate guys in and out. They made some nice acquisitions here. Let's feed the proven backs in Hall and Dalvin, get our feet wet, control the ball, control the clock for a little bit. Limit 3rd and longs, try to establish a drive with multiple first downs. I mean, could you imagine the Jets start out the game, they receive, and they go on a long drive, 4 or 5 first downs, and the drive results in points? I mean, MetLife Stadium is going to erupt, right? Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen and the offense come walking out, and there's like 8 minutes left in the first quarter. I think a situation like that will be beneficial. Also, because there are some uncertainties with McDermott's new defense, I do feel like it's going to be extremely aggressive, safety blitzes and whatnot. I think because of that, I don't want to be in a lot of third and longs early in the game. I would much rather, set the tone with the running game, and then again, as the game goes on, utilize the play action, work off of play action, the bootlegs, situations where Aaron Rodgers can climb the pocket and hit guys over the middle of the field. Once you have an aggressive defense, right, guys that are already kind of playing on their toes a little bit, trying to creep up to the line of scrimmage, once you have those guys struggling in the running game, that philosophy, that mindset is only going to be there more, right? It's going to be more intensified, and that's the perfect time to strike off of play action. So that's kind of my mindset. Again, I think early on, if the Jets are in a lot of 3rd and 12s, 3rd and 13s, and the Bills pass rushers can just pin their ears back and attack, and Rodgers might have to get rid of the football quickly because of 5-6 man pressures coming in. I think, I don't know. I just it just makes me feel a little uneasy. I would much rather control the game with the running game as opposed to coming out and trying to throw the football all over the yard on one of the better defenses in all of football. Now, shifting gears and looking at the Jets defense, I think we actually match up pretty well with Buffalo. I think there's 2 main areas that I want to kind of focus in on. Number one, we have to keep Josh Allen from extending these long plays. When we look at, in the Saleh era for the past couple of seasons, when we've looked at opposing mobile quarterbacks that break the pocket and start moving around and have, an excess of time to either throw the football or run the football, they've really struggled. when we think about like guys like Lamar Jackson and even Josh Allen before in the past. I mean, I remember watching the Patriots game last season, and Mac Jones had opportunities where he was breaking the pocket and he was picking up first downs with his legs. That's an area that Joe Burrow's another guy. It's an area that I don't want to be in. Josh Allen is one of the best playmaking quarterbacks in the game. He's one of the best mobile quarterbacks in the game. I don't want to be in a situation where the Jets defense is handling what they need to do. They're covering the pass catchers, they're handling their responsibilities, they're doing their job, but the Bills offense is still finding success because Josh Allen has 5 seconds to throw because he's just so big and tough to bring down. He's getting outside the pocket and scrambling. Now all of a sudden he's picking up that 3rd and 7 with his legs. He's finding on a 3rd and 10 a wide open Stephon Diggs, and it's not because of the cornerback play. It's not because of the defensive play call. It's literally because corners in the NFL cannot cover for 6 seconds a play. So I think, and also, when we've contained Josh Allen to the pocket and tried to collapse it on him, that's when we've seen Allen struggle against this Jets team. And that's really, based off of the 4-3 system and how the Jets play on the back end. We have so many playmakers back there. It's going to be difficult for Allen to find open targets with the pocket collapsing on top of him. And of course you can say, it's so much easier said than done. Oh yeah, just collapse the pocket, keep Allen from extending plays. But I do feel like the Bills have a weak spot on the right side of their offensive line. Again, you have Spencer Brown at right tackle, but we're looking at guard. Is it going to be O'Cyrus Torrence, the rookie 2nd-round pick? Again, I like him a lot, but in his first NFL game, going up against the Jets defense in MetLife Stadium on primetime football, I think I'm going to take the Jets matchup there. Or it could be Ryan Bates, who I'm not really the biggest fan of. So I do feel like the Jets can get some pressure off the right side of the Buffalo Bills offensive line. And that's really my mindset, right? That's my game plan going into the game. And also we have to look at the linebacker responsibilities. Does Jamie Sherwood and Quincy Williams, can these guys rise to the occasion and be able to hawk down a Josh Allen in space? Can they hawk down a little slip screen to a James Cook, somebody who is explosive with the football in his hands, short little checkdowns? If the Bills come out and they're just, getting rid of the football quickly, like short passing game, can the linebackers have enough speed to neutralize these plays, or at least limit the overall success, limiting yards after catch, or, in the case of Josh Allen, just trying to break him down in open space. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I cannot wait for the game. Oh man, I'm freaking pumped, man. I can't believe football is back. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts, and as always, go Jets.